Okay. Since it's 4 o'clock, we'll go ahead and get started. Give me 1 second. Okay. If you guys will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Anyone else want to? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We did it as a round, Mr. Dallas.
As a round?
Wait, when you start and then someone starts a little bit later. All right.
Oh.
Since I don't see Victor yet, Ms. Frazier, do you mind making a motion to approve the agenda?
I make the motion that we approve the agenda for Technology Committee meeting.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Do we have any public comments, Ms. Cushenberry? Do I hear, do you guys hear anything?
I don't.
I hear some knocking. Or like someone maybe trying to activate or something on their computer.
As a matter of fact, they're muted inside there.
Yeah.
You hear us now?
Yeah, there you are.
Are you here? Okay. I'm sorry, there's no public comments.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then Mr. Shohan. Yeah.
Mr. Victor has just, I was letting him in. I let him in. I don't know if he went back out. He's in, but he's muted.
Okay,
Good
perfect.
afternoon, everybody.
Oh, there he
No,
is.
he's not muted. All right, Mr. Shohan, do you want to kick things off? We need a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Leah,
Seconded.
thank you.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so now, Mr. Shohan, do you want to kick us off with the BCSD live streaming conversation that we got from the Ad Hoc Policy Committee?
Yes, so I don't have all the concrete documents. It's going to still take a couple of more weeks, but I was able to get some rough numbers for what it would cost for us to take over these costs. And I did the 1 and 5 year cost comparisons. So with the Beaufort County channel for 1 year, we're spending a little under $46,000. And for the 5 year cost, it would be $224,000. To bring all that in-house, we would have to hire 1 full-time FTE, which would be about $120,000 a year with all benefits and everything added. To purchase a mobile camera setup that we could carry down to like Hilton Head Middle and stuff like that would be about $35,000. To upgrade the disc meeting room is going to be about $60,000, and graduation equipment will be about $95,000. So on a yearly cost, that would be about $310,000, and over 5 years would be roughly $790,000. So it is a little bit more expensive for us to bring it in-house.
Yeah. Any questions from Mr. Nay or Ms. Frazier?
Not any questions, but like for the large like the graduation equipment, that's something that we could subcontract out. I don't know that we need to buy all that the sound equipment, all the speakers and all that kind of stuff. But still, that would probably over a 5 year commitment would probably be more than 95,000. So I don't know. That's obviously more expensive to bring it in-house. But graduation equipment is still iffy.
Ms. Frazier?
Yeah, that seems excessive. That's too much to even consider. But if we lose a contract with them doing it out, at least we'll know how to do it.
So is your concern then that what do we have if County Channel suddenly decides that they're not going to, didn't they decide they weren't going to do our committee meetings? Can you refresh my memory on that, Ms. Cushenberry or Mr. Shohan?
No, they were doing everything prior to, before Molly had left, we were doing committee meeting minutes. When Molly left and it was just by myself, county took over all of it. And then once, I have a staff, then we said that we didn't need for them to do committees. We could go back to doing YouTube. So they were willing to still do it, but there was not a need for them to do the committee meeting. And then they would have raised the price if they were going to do all of our committee meetings, because the price would have gone up from 45.
What was the issue though? We had an issue with the contract.
And
Like 2 years ago?
when it was transferred over, when they lost Scott, there was not a contract and they didn't have the staff. And so that's what the initial, reasoning was, because they didn't have the staff at the time and they were transferring over.
Okay.
And at that time, we actually went out and started looking for other vendors. So we found 2 more vendors in the area, but before we could start negotiating a contract, the County Channel came back and said that they would do all that for the original fee. Most of the other subcontractors we found were about roughly 7,000 to 10,000 more expensive per year.
And are they local? Like, would we be able to, if County Channel suddenly decided they weren't going to carry us anymore, would it be a pretty seamless transition, or were they sort of out of market?
Yep, they're local. I think they're actually on Hilton Head Island.
They
But
were Hilton Head.
yeah, Hilton Head.
It
I
was
can't
Hilton
think
Head.
of the name right now, but
And it's Hilton Head something. I can't
yeah, I can't
remember
remember the name of it. But yeah, they both companies was within an hour of our location, so it would be an easy transition.
Okay. Any other board members online that want to weigh in?
Mr. Dallas has joined and Ms. Hay has joined.
Okay. Well, if you'll let me know, Ms. Cushenberry, if someone raises their hand or wants to speak. But this is my question about that cost comparison, because right now, we have 2 people on site that are district staff, and they usually support County Channel. Is that correct?
They do the initial setup and they do support the County Channel if they have any problems with networking. But both of those employees have other duties that I lose them during the hours of these meetings and committee meetings that they have to come in. So if we took this on full time, I would definitely need 1 more FTE to be able to make sure that they could still do their job, which a lot of it's dealing with audio enhancement, the networking system, and the boards in all of our classrooms, the Boxlight boards. So
Aren't they basically the liaison between the school district and county?
yes,
Because they just do whatever is the board's needs with their computers and stuff, and then being able to get on our network because county doesn't have access to our network.
When you say county, you mean County Channel, right? So they're the
Yeah.
liaison. And what is their full-time jobs? They're just in the network department at this district?
yes, they're in the network department. One of them's full time with the boards, the Boxlight boards, and the audio enhancements system for PA and emergency alerts. Which now that we have that in all of our schools, it's starting to eat up a lot more of our technicians' time, making sure everything's working and 100%.
But we do actually have a vendor for that as well, right?
We do have a vendor, but they don't come in and do any of the work. They basically do the back end, provide us updates and stuff that we push into the system. And they provide a conduit for any kind of repair network. So normally they send us a new item, we swap it, we send back the old item, and we get reimbursed.
Okay. So they're not, they don't have any on-site support through the vendor, but is there a lot of like remote in type support for these things, or is it all sort of has to go through your department?
It all goes through our department. There is some liaison that our main person with audio enhancement contacts the vendor out in Utah, and they do some back-end communication. But generally speaking, their engineers do not come on our network.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine they would need to for the most part, because I would think most of this would be remoting in if they needed to do some sort of configuration. But that does seem like a lot, one person for 35 schools, PA and alert system.
They do get some help with the local area supervisors and the local techs, but it's more of an escalation piece. The local technician can do the basic stuff. The area supervisor can do the next batch. And then it's got to be pretty bad for the network person here at the district office to have to go out.
Yeah, I mean, because that's basically a level 3 type situation, right? I mean, how often is that happening? If it sounds like it's happening somewhere. Anyways, that's getting off topic. Let me just back up. Because I think my question is, if you had one FTE, would you still need 2 network people on site?
No, but no matter what, you always have to have backup in case they go on vacation, get sick. So we always try to get 2 people there, but usually the second person doesn't stay very long. They usually help get set up, make sure everybody can connect, and then usually one of them leaves.
And then what is the additional burden to having, neither of our boardroom settings are set up all that well. I mean, I think we're in the converted cafeteria at Battery Creek High School, the old Battery Creek High School, right, in the district office.
Yes.
And then, and that's a 1970s building. So I'm assuming there's a lot of struggle with wires and interference and network. I don't know. That would just be my guess. And then we're basically in the media center of, the middle school. So neither of these are like just plug and play environments to run a meeting, correct?
Correct. They were not designed for what we're using the space as.
Would it be, if we ever did get a dedicated, and I would push for, although I may not get, a central location or something where they're like, this is where all our meetings are going to be, what would be the reduction on workload and expense?
Well, first of all, when you get a room that's built for it initially, the wiring, the speakers, everything was designed for that room. Yeah. Whereas what we're doing is taking older systems and shoving them in an older room, trying to make it work.
Right. And which I appreciate, but that does come through, right? Like we get a lot of drops, just because to me, it just seems like it's not set up for that. So when we talk about the expense and we compare county channel, we compare hiring an FTE, I mean, this is at least a starting point of, costs. And obviously I would imagine there's not a real appetite to switch right away, but looking out, 1 to 5 years, if we were to, as a board or as a district, kind of want to try and create a bespoke place for meetings or professional development or trainings or, those sorts of things, that might be a different conversation.
Yes.
And I'm just talking because I haven't heard anybody else wants to talk. So just interrupt me at any point. But the other thing, as far as, my experience with the board with different meetings is, I've gone to different meetings where there is sort of a more of an integrated setup. And when I watch other board meetings from other school districts, and these are more bespoke rooms, right? I think I don't see as many school districts doing it sort of in a media center of a high school. I don't know if Beaufort County's geography makes it so unique that we sort of have to do that, because it is getting really challenging to go from one end of the county to the other. So I don't know. I have not seen other districts doing that. Most of the districts I see have a very dedicated space for that. But would it be at all possible before our next meeting, maybe in January, just because of the holidays, to look at, I think our meeting, we're in compliance with what we have right now. We're just looking at an opportunity to kind of be more, reach a higher level, to see what other districts are doing. And what they're, yeah.
Well, the board was originally meeting in the county chambers. So that's
right.
where we had all of our meetings. And a previous board had decided that they did not want us to meet at the county chambers any longer, because they didn't like us being on the dais, and that, they didn't like the formality and stuff for us being at the county chambers. But that's where we were meeting. That's where all our meetings were, because it was already set up. It was just very easy. So
How hard, Mark, were you around when they were running meetings out of the county chamber?
I was, and at that time we looked at what other districts were doing. So I contacted Charleston, Aiken, Greenville, and I think Richland too. And all of those had one dedicated space for the whole district, that they held all their meetings in that one room. And that allowed them to put better equipment in it that didn't move around and set that meeting up. And that's all it was used for.
Pausing to make sure I'm not monopolizing. Anybody else have any thoughts about this?
No, I don't have any thoughts. It's just the what ifs. What if County Channel decides they can't do us anymore, and then we're left holding the bag on how do we, fill the stopgap, so to speak. But in the foreseeable future, if the county doesn't seem like there doesn't seem any reason for them to stop, we're fulfilling the letter of the law, so to speak. But that's my only concern. I mean, it's nice to have an updated price comparison. So if County Channel decides, hey, so sorry, but we can't, then at least we know how much money that we're gonna have to put into it.
So are we toying with the idea of moving back to having it at the county chambers?
Well, I was going to toy with that idea just because Robin, tell me why, because I remember that they used to be in county chambers and I wasn't sure if that wasn't all the thing. Because to me, it seems like a lot of our struggles with Zoom and a lot of our struggles is because we're trying to run this in a 1971 cafeteria or, a media center. I mean, so when we had it at County Channel or when we had it at the county chambers, we were broadcasting it then too, right?
we were broadcasting, but we were not doing it by Zoom.
Okay.
So we were just broadcasting live. And when we had it at the county chambers, the only electronic was by phone. And that was at the time that we had board members who could phone in.
Right.
We didn't start Zoom until COVID, once we left, and then that changed everything. And then once COVID, the board at that time did not want to go back to county chamber. They did not want to go back to the chamber.
That's interesting.
So, and previously to that, the reason why we're in the media center, 2 or 3 previous boards, they were trying to, where Right Choices that was going to be the boardroom that was going to be set up as the dedicated boardroom. But the board at the time did not want to spend the amount of money that it would require to turn it into a dedicated place. So the media center became a compromise. So therefore, they can only upgrade to the amount of money that was allocated at that time, which was about $50,000.
Would it be cheaper to have county channel out of the county chamber since they're already set up, they're not traveling, et cetera?
Yes, they would be happier if we did that and they didn't have to travel.
Because that way, all they have to do is turn it on.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing their tricoder and all their cameras and their truck to our
And their
facility.
box of wires. I see their boxes of wires.
Yeah, they would love it if we just went back to the.
Okay.
Mr. Dallas's hand is up.
Mr. Dallas.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Cushingberry. I just have a question as to, with moving back to the county chambers, would that improve the quality and reduce the number of blackout spots that we have?
It could, but the other issue about moving the county channel, back to the chamber, is we might have some scheduling issues.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
That bigger problems we had before with the
Yes.
chambers is we were competing with so many of the county processes on that room.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's an interesting, because I do think that, ultimately what I think the district should do, in my personal opinion, is figure out a meeting spot. Because the other thing we have is, I mean, we have a lot of empty chairs in our meetings, and I try to make most of them, but it is occasionally hard because if you're going to get to executive session at 4 and you're coming from across the county and you're trying to, if you have kids in school or you have different things, it becomes really, really challenging. So, but I do think a central location would be ideal. One of the other issues I would imagine is that we have a lot of district staff. When I see other school boards at these meetings, they have the staff that is necessary for the meeting at hand. We seem to have more. What is your take on that? Am I wrong about that?
Most of the time, it's just the staff that really needs to be there, unless Dr. Rodriguez asked them to be there in case you all ask questions about a particular topic. So they might not be there to present, but if their area of topic is up, he usually asks them to be there if possible so that they can address whatever issues you all might have.
Yeah, I was just thinking if that was an impediment to doing a different setup. But anyways, we're probably not here to tackle that, except when we talk about these comparisons. I would, the other thing that I find, I was at a, Hilton Head Bluffton Chamber Commerce room doing a meeting, and it was just the way they have that thing integrated. And, one thing that drives me nuts is we do a lot of PowerPoints, and poor Robin's over there trying to scroll around, and she's getting voice commands from whoever, why we don't have some sort of a clicker, why we don't have some sort of a laser pointer, why we don't have, sort of the things that I think of traditional meeting apparatus. Have we ever had anything like that, or is that just sort of
Yes.
outside of our budget?
No, we do have clickers and pointers and stuff. It's just a matter of who wants to use them and who doesn't.
Or they'd rather just tell you what to do. Go up, Miss Cushenberry. Nope, not too far. Go back down, Miss Cushenberry. Okay. Well, I mean, I think this is a start to give us an idea that it would be, a huge outlay of cash up front to do anything different than what we're currently doing. And from what I gather from our conversations in the policy committee, we're in compliance from a technology standpoint. Did you agree with that, Mr. Chauhan?
Absolutely.
Okay. But there is there is definitely, I think there are some concerns about, making sure the meeting runs smoothly and is easy to access and, at least looks and feels professional. That is a challenge when you're in a media center and a cafeteria. So I don't know if that's something to think about down the road, if there's anything else we can do with that. Because I'd like to see, a little bit more of an official, stable type situation. And I think it would help attendance too. But we don't need to talk about that with the policy. Any other questions? Yeah.
So would we use the meeting on Hilton Head? We'd use their chamber, and then in Beaufort, we'd use the chamber there.
I'd love to use the Hilton Head Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, but it's not big enough for public comments. It's more of a boardroom.
Okay.
County
We generally
council,
have to use the library on Hilton Head
Yeah.
for those meetings previously.
what about county council? I mean, town council.
Their meetings go on at the same time our meetings are.
They're on Tuesdays as well.
Theirs on Tuesdays and start somewhere between 3 and 5. So the county channel, generally, if they will start their meeting, they have us on YouTube, and then when their meeting's over, then they switch us over live to our meeting. But our meetings are going on at the same time the Hilton Head Town Council meeting's going on.
What about Bluffton Town Council?
There's not room, it's too small. There's not room for us.
Yeah, the Hilton Head Chamber Room is fantastic for a large board, but not for public comments and staff and all that. And I think we decided not to do the library anymore, right?
We decided not to do the library any longer because of safety and the size of the room.
And the sound was terrible.
Yes.
Okay. Any other thoughts or questions from board members?
Madam Chair, I'll have one at the appropriate time, ma'am.
Please, go ahead.
As we start looking at future referendum, and the composition of that, and maybe there might be some opportunities to have a facility that is more centrally located. So I think keeping it on the back burner that we would want to, if there's space at a new site or a new school or whatever, that we could actually build a situation or location that's appropriate for all the things, qualitatively speaking too, not just cost. I think that would be something to try to put into that any upcoming referendum. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I don't sense, but correct me if I'm wrong, I don't sense any action coming out of this, other than we'll continue to look at it. But for right now, I would say that I would report out to the board that we were shown initial cost projections of outsourcing it or live streaming to County Channel versus bringing it in-house. And there did not seem to be any appetite from the committee to make that change in the immediate future. Would that be an accurate assessment?
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. All right, then we can move on to item number 4, the student repair counts. So I don't know, Leah, I'm sorry, Ms. Frazier, Mr. Nade, do you have any comments at looking at this?
No, I mean, obviously it's like laptop stolen, misplaced. Seems like cracked screen stands out a lot too. I'm assuming we're doing everything that we can to mitigate cracked screens. Lost or stolen's on the student. You know, I think that's just going to be one of those things where it's a 1-to-1, and mom and dad agree if they lose it, steal it, then they got to pay for it. Are we doing everything that we can to mitigate the broken screens and the broken stuff?
For the lost and stolen, most of those are found within that day. And because the child left them in the media center, in the lunchroom, in their last classroom. So most of those work themselves out. There's always the few that get lost off site. For the cracked screens, the overall percentage is not as bad as it looks. If you go to just high schools, so high schools had cracked screens, 31 total cracked screens for our high schools. We have roughly a little about 6,575 high school kids. So at 32 cracked screens, that's only a 0.005%. So I think that these numbers are actually within specs for as many kids as we have. And actually, I don't even want to say it, but it's been looking fairly good this year with some of our lower numbers.
Go ahead, knock on wood, or you.
That's right.
Please.
I did. Absolutely did.
I don't want to jinx myself.
Ms. Frazier, do you have any questions about the student repairs?
No questions.
Okay. First of all, I do think we should keep student's name off of the description, because this is being broadcast. And then I have a couple of questions about one. I think when you report these stats out, it's useful to have percentages, because I saw that Pritchardville had like 2 more than the average, but of course they have 3 times the students. So if we're going to like compare, I think we need to look at percentages more than actual numbers. The other thing is, when you mentioned about 31, that's for the month of October, right?
Yes.
What were our cracked screens last year total off the top of your head ish? Do you remember?
Oh God, no, but I could pull that information.
But it was more than 31 a month.
I do not, I don't remember those, but I can pull those up and we can do a comparison for the totals from last year.
Yeah, I'm just, because I know I had high school kids. They generally, it was generally acknowledged that you were going to crack your screen at some point in your high school career, and they wouldn't turn them in until the end because you got one free. And so they would just, unless it became dysfunctional. But I do still think that flip top thing that we've got going is silly. I don't think anyone's using it as a tablet. And you and I've had this conversation where you said it's actually more reinforced to have that fully. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you can take your laptop and basically bend it over itself and becomes a tablet. It's called a 2-in-1. They really are pretty outdated. I don't see many people using them outside of real specialized industries. But my observation and my assessment is that causes some of the cracking because it's a hinge essentially more so than the thing. So if we see a lot of those, if we get outside the specs, I still think we need to look. It just creates more movement on your screen, which in my opinion you don't want. And those are, yeah.
One thing I can say is before we started doing the HP bendables, we were using the Dell Venues, which was a fixed laptop. So it only went that 2/3 of the way open. We did find out that we had more broken hinges when we used the fixed model as we did when it can open all the way up, because the kids would just keep messing with it until it broke.
Yeah.
Some kids, not all of them, but there's always those.
Yeah, I don't know. My personal observation. I don't know why we have a 2-in-1. It just seems like, unless you think it provides more stability. The other thing is, at some point, can y'all consider slightly larger screens? Those things are crazy small for laptops.
Yeah, we leave those for the kids with the great eyes. You know, they got a lot better eyes than the staff members have.
You're trying to I've just seen kids. Okay. And then the other question is on the lost and I have 2 more on lost and stolen. Are they do we have corresponding police reports for those when they aren't recovered? When we don't
Yes,
find them?
they're actually stolen. That is one of our requirements, is that if it's stolen off property, the parent's responsible for getting the police report and bringing it in. If the device gets stolen at the school, generally we can find that with our methods of tracking the device and cameras to find out where it was and what happened to it.
This is kind of a future topic, not for here, but we don't let kids use their own computers at home, right? They have to bring it home and they have to do all their work on this kind of small little computer.
They can use home devices. They can log into ClassLink and access most of our educational software.
They can.
They can.
Okay.
But I will say that they won't have access to everything on that. There is some programs that will not don't have a web portal that are installed locally on a server here at the district. So some of that content might not be available. That's why we always recommend that they bring their devices home to do homework.
Didn't we at one point IP restrict stuff? Because I remember, now maybe not in the recent past, but that you could not use your home laptop.
No, but what we do is we do look at some IP restrictions when it comes to our iBoss content filtering. Okay. Because iBoss has multiple data centers around the country, we have to go ahead of time and look at the IP addresses for the different data centers and make sure that we program those in to our system, and that way we can verify that the device coming in is one of our devices.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from board members on student repairs?
None here. Thank you.
Okay. And then that brings us to the repair surveys. Anything you want to add there? This is just a sample of tickets. Are these all the tickets for October?
These are just staff tickets because we don't survey students for repairs, and students are our higher repair market.
Yeah, but this represents all staff reported tech issues for the month of October.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. Well, not every tech issue, it's every survey filled out.
All right.
We give out a survey at the end of the ticket, but that doesn't mean that the end user is filling out that survey every time. We would like for them to. We love feedback, but it doesn't always happen.
No, we don't.
Yeah, because I will say all 5 stars and 2 4 stars makes me just a little bit like, really? I mean, that's impressive, but woof, with tech stuff.
Well, that's one of the biggest things we look at, because when we see those 1s and 2s, even 3s, it makes us look, well, what really happened with this incident that it went so awry?
Yeah, but you guys don't have any. You have 2 4s and the rest are all 5s.
I say that's still the Goldilocks of the school year starting. People are happy that they made it through that first 9 weeks and they're kind of getting in a groove, and everybody's just got their blinders on looking for the Christmas holiday right now.
Interesting. So do you expect more surveys and perhaps some more feedback as the year rolls on?
I would say our probably biggest year for feedback, our biggest month is going to be our January's feedback, when the staff gets back after having that break and issues seem to just pop up when they're gone for a couple of weeks. So generally, those times are usually our biggest times.
Okay. Any other board members have a question on the survey results? They were wildly positive.
Wildly. No question.
No questions.
Yeah.
None here.
Okay, then, I mean, really, that kind of concludes. We do have, it's not on the agenda and this is not for action, but just to bring up, what's the status of the surveys that we have? Are we going to send those out here? Because I thought we were going to like officially, but maybe we didn't need to bring them back to this meeting.
I don't think we needed to bring them back, and they're in communications. So they are inputting them on the Bang the Table app. So I would expect them to be out very shortly if they're not already.
What I'd like the link sent out to board members so that we can forward it, so we can be representatives in the community. If you'll forward that link to all board members, that if they have people that they want to make sure, I've got some people I want to send it to that have expressed interest, and so I'd like that link. Additionally, can we get something with a QR code, like a flyer, or, I mean, I know we'll have some stuff on our website / social media. I just want to try and get the word out as much as possible so we get a really representative sample.
That shouldn't be a problem.
And then are you not you personally, but you, the district and staff, coordinating with SICs in some meaningful way, or do you need board members' help with that?
As soon as we get the links to the survey page, we will forward that out to all board members, all SIC for all of our schools. And then we'll also get it out to some of the chambers. I think Candace has contacts with all of our different chambers and local partners, and we'll forward the survey link out to them as well.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds good. And then I'll get it out. I'll reiterate with my SIC chairs that, you know, even though it's the holidays, just see if you can get some parents to fill this out.
Mr. Dallas's hand is up.
Mr. Dallas.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Cushingberry. There are some other very significant organizations like the Military Enhancement Committee. There's a business and military group that has been formed, which is a combination of the 4 municipalities, the county, and about 30 key leaders in the county. And so maybe consideration of seeing how to get messaging out to them, as Madam Chair just mentioned. For example, the military committees are both looking at how do we inform them that the public schools are such a superb alternative for them. And maybe there seems to be some indication that if they have a better appreciation for all the offering of the public schools, then they might stay here. The stickiness of keeping them here rather than going to a prior station might be improved. So that's the type of conversations that are happening there. So I'll defer to this committee in terms of how or if you handle that at all, but just want to raise it for consideration. Thank you.
Perfect. We expect you to work your contacts, Mr. Dallas, and get those surveys out to the military. Mr. Nay. So.
Absolutely, ma'am. Do the best I can.
I know 1 or 2 people.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I will say, please feel free to use any of your personal contacts to get the info out. Anybody you think might be helpful in our community partners and initiatives, send it on. It can't hurt.
Did we ever decide on a closing? Like, are we going to open it for 2 weeks? Did we decide on that?
I don't think we had a potential hard close date. I think we were looking at about 3 weeks.
Okay. Just
Just to
I
make
get my
sure,
time.
especially with the holidays coming up and everything, to give a week or so before Thanksgiving and maybe a week or so after.
All right, well, we just need to kind of get it right out of the gate, get it going, hopefully. Okay, that sounds good. So that pretty much runs through our agenda. What about anyone have future topics at the moment?
Negative.
We still have on as a future topic, esports.
Yes. So we can do that. That'll be a nice little Christmas treat if we want to meet in December, or we could wait till January. I know December is a busy time for everybody.
And
What would be our next meeting day?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Ms. Frazier.
Future topic, can we keep discussing meeting at the chambers?
Yeah. So how I would present that, since this is a technology committee, is the feasibility of improving meeting technology via location.
Sounds good.
Because my guess is that technology doesn't get to make that recommendation as a whole. I mean, we could. But yeah, I do. I'm kind of with you. I don't know why we would have stopped doing that, but I'm sure there was a reason.
Yeah, and I understand Robin and the employees at the district, they have to go with what the board wants at that time. I know that can be frustrating for sure. So Robin's probably like, oh boy, now we're gonna go a different route. Yeah.
Just when she thought she got it all.
I know, right? Sorry, Robin.
Yes, sir. Someone says,
Okay. So yeah, we'll have that conversation. What would be our meeting date in December? Because I am fine if you guys just want to meet in January. If we want to, hear back if we've gotten some surveys back or see where we're at in December and talk about esports, we can do that. I am open.
can you meet December 15th?
What day is that? That's a Monday, yeah?
Okay.
I mean, I'm up for it. Mr. Nay, Ms. Frazier, if you guys want to just sort of chime in and tell me if you think that December 15th is too much and we need to wait till January, or you prefer to meet.
December 15th is the Hilton Head Island Middle School Orchestral concert. So I will be at that concert.
That's at 6, right?
Yes, but having to get from here to there or whatever. Yeah,
I was thinking for a hot moment that we can have it at Hilton Head, but you have one in person. Okay, so yeah, I definitely want to go to that too. I was pretty impressed with that middle school orchestra.
So here's a question, and it doesn't have to do with it does have to do with the future meetings. Are we required to meet every single month?
No.
The technology committee, no.
Okay. So I know we had this conversation with academics. So we don't need to meet.
Mandated to meet every month.
I don't think any of our meetings are actually required by policy to meet every month. And if you look at other districts, they don't.
Okay.
Operations is the only one operations is the only meeting because they have to do a construction update. They're required. So it's not necessarily at the committee, but they do have to report it out every month. That is the only, that is the only committee that has to report out every single month. And that's basically the construction update.
Is that an OE or an AR, or what is that?
It would have to be a OE, I think. I have to go back and look.
Okay, I'm just curious because, I mean, look, my only point being, when I look at we do probably meet more than we need to. I've always wanted technology to be a neat meet if we needed it, which is why if we do December, if you guys, the only thing about December would be, I'm going to be curious, but Mr. Shohan, you can just email to the committee members the survey stats and just kind of get an idea of, if we got a good response or not. And then we could just meet in January. I'm fine with that because it is a busy time in December. But per policy, committees really, most districts don't meet every month. They meet for specific purposes. Yeah.
So
what, Robin?
Meeting in December, correct?
Yeah. So do I sense from you guys that we'd rather just skip the meeting in December and meet in January?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Mr. Shohan, are you okay with that? I know you're disappointed.
Oh, I'm extremely disappointed, but I think I can make it till January.
If you'll do me the favor of just sending out when we do close the surveys within a couple of days, if you'll just send me the stats on that, just so I know how many responses we got. That shouldn't be hard. I don't know what software you're using, but you should know pretty fast what stats we've got, right?
Yeah, once it ran for a week or two, we shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So, Robin, you want to send out dates for January, and we'll just pick a date. We'll, whatever that date would be. I'm not super worried about it. It's going to be mid-January, Monday, and we'll plan to meet then. And we'll do, if you can, Mr. Shohan, presentation on esports.
Got it.
Awesome. All right. If there is nothing further, are we all ready to adjourn?
Absolutely.
So moved. All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.